I can understand how hard it is because I've been there, and you've got players that are working 12-hour shifts and then rushing to training. Like I do think people underestimate how hard it is. They just think, oh, you play in the elite sport, shall we call it, the elite league, and sometimes they think that's enough. But for me, it's you've got to look at the bigger picture.
This is Ibrox.
You talked about before, and obviously I work with a women's team, and a lot of people will sometimes come down and go, yeah, I've enjoyed it, but it wasn't quite the same level. And obviously it's third division English football, it's part-time, they train twice a week. If the pitch is not soggy and drained and stuff like that, you've been through that yourself, doing part-time and stuff like that. Do you think that there should be maybe a little bit more understanding of a lot of the teams, obviously not at Rangers at the moment, but a lot of teams across the women's game do have to work in like a retail shop till 5:30 and then shovel their dinner down, whatever that may be, a tin of beans or whatever it may be, and then go to sort of training and then come back and get ready for the 8 o'clock shift the next morning. Do you think that kind of thing is played down too much in a way, like the sacrifices that a lot of girls have to make?
Yeah, 100% agree. Just like I said, I can understand how hard it is because I've been there, and you've got players that are working 12-hour shifts and then rushing to training. Like I do think people underestimate how hard it is. They just think, oh, you play in the elite sport, shall we call it, the elite league, and sometimes they think that's enough. But for me, it's you've got to look at the bigger picture and what they're actually doing during the day before they even get to training. So I would agree with you on that.
Just touching on that, obviously, like many boys' academies are taking professional from like the age of 11, 12 and putting in that environment straight away, putting in digs, training like twice a day and stuff. Do you ever see that happening with the women's game? Young girls being taken into that professional environment from even such as a pre-teenage, or do you think that'll be a long, long time until that happens?
I genuinely do think that we're going in the right direction. I was doing an individual training session with they're called Pro Performance Academy. They're held in Denny, and you've got kids as young as 6 that are working on individual training. Like I would never have known like that was even a thing. Like if you had told me you're going to an individual training at the age of 6 and you're going to learn all the small finer details of being a footballer, I would say what am I doing that for? But when you think about it, it's incredible, and I think what you've got kids that are learning to scan at the age of 6. I mean, I didn't think I realised that. I don't think I actually started scanning until I was like playing at like maybe women's first team level. So I think what the kids are getting these days, and especially the girls, like there's so many opportunities for girls like from a very young age, and that I certainly didn't have. So where I am just now, and the fact that I didn't have that, I think I've done pretty well. So the fact that these kids have now got those opportunities in front of them, then I think they'll go even further than I ever will.
I think one thing that has helped as well, the women's game generally and girls growing up, Nicola, I'd be interested in your thoughts on this. I think nationally, if you like, people like Alex Scott on the television has unquestionably helped. But up here and more local to ourselves in Scotland, I think the involvement of Leanne Crichton on the television has been hugely helpful, and people will look up to her when she's making any points and ask the questions, my goodness, who is she? And then she's obviously just very, very recently retired. So it does show that there's almost a route from playing at a really high level to pastures new after that, and you know what I mean, your life doesn't end the minute you stop playing football, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, there's obviously opportunities there for footballers when they retired. There's obviously what Leanne Crichton's done. What she's done for her national team was incredible. Yeah. The fact that she's now on doing the pundit stuff, I think she's a very knowledgeable footballer. Played
she's very good
for many years, and
yeah.
I think she's excellent at what she does on the TV. But when I went on Rangers TV, I was probably the most nervous I've ever been in my life, because obviously being a fan and stuff. But I think it becomes real natural to Leanne Crichton. She's very good at what she does, and she deserves the opportunity that she gets from obviously when retiring from the national team to the pundit stuff that she's doing now.
I think as well, the nerves it just shows how much you care. I remember when we just shortly started doing our This Is Ibrox podcast, and without giving away my age too much, I was a huge fan of Ian Durrant. and I was lucky enough to be given the opportunity to speak to him in a one-on-one in an interview, and I was a nervous wreck on the lead up to it, and I wasn't sure I was really that much better as I spoke to him for about an hour and a half. However, he tolerated it, and as I say, it just shows you care. It absolutely does.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was on that podcast recently as well, so I got to him as well. So I was a bit nervous like yourself, but I know once you're on it, you're fine.
Absolutely, 100%.
Fire's raging, I'm shaking. You wanna go out? I wanna stay in.